I got 2 texturizing shears. I'm Bonnie McGowan. I do a lot of sharpening, teach a lot of sharpeners, and I find myself fixing shears that other people have sharpened. Sometimes they're easy to fix and sometimes they're not. These were sent to me by a new sharpener. He's been sharpening 5 months. Sorry for the noise in the background. And he says he's having problems with the end tooth pulling. He says under magnification, the end tooth looks like someone may have tried to do something to it. I'm not positive about having the correct washer, and I matched what was already there. And so the sharpening that we're seeing on here may not be his sharpening, and it's always hard to tell. He said, I hope you can fix them for my client and that he'll learn something. Okay, so this is what I noticed when I first got these, is that there was a burr on the outside of the blade. When I ran my nail over it, I could feel roughness. And then there was even like a little burr on the teeth.
We got in the long dragons, the dragon curves, and the silver foxes.
So this one, I've pretty much fixed it. This is the cricket. Little bit of a pull here, but not bad. And all I did was go over it with a nail buffer. I'm going to go over it again with a nail buffer, but I was feeling some burr on here.
You can tell him your 10-year-old boy dresses no man. Yeah.
This office is always crazy. It's been a crazy day today. So I'm just going to go over it with my nail buffer. I might go, usually I'm doing 3000 grit. I might do a little rougher. This is 1000 grit, 240, 320, maybe the 320 on just on the teeth, gently, right there on the edge, but back with a 3000 grit here. You know, after I did those earlier, they're still pulling hair a little bit. Remember, they were better with just the nail buffer, but I'm still, I don't know. That cuts pretty good, doesn't it?
So you nail buffer.
I just went over a little bit more with the nail buffer. It's still wanting to catch a little bit here.
Yep.
But it's 100% better than what it was.
And those were the 2 shears that you showed
Now,
me
yeah, now the
yesterday.
other one I said I was going to sharpen it again. But this one here, just the nail buffer, well, now it's pulling a little bit. But it's 100% better than what it was. Now, if I run my nail down here, it just feels rough. I've got Brad with me. He's here training this week. But if you run your nail down there, it just feels rough right on the edge. I'm thinking if I just sharpen it again, it might fix this one. Feel how it just doesn't feel crisp? It's not smooth. Not really nicks.
Just a little rougher.
Yeah.
The rest of it's very smooth, and then right at the tip kind of gets
Yeah,
a little
I'm just going to sharpen it again and see what
gritty, it
happens.
feels
Yeah.
like.
Because it's better with just the nail buffer, but I think the whole sharpening will fix it. This other shear, the nail buffer didn't help it at all. But it's got some weird looking things. Let's see, look how that Rideline looks like it's like a couple of different levels, doesn't it?
Yeah, it almost kind of looks like they tried to do it, but it kind of like comes down at an angle maybe.
Well, you know what I'm looking at here? Do you see how it looks shiny on the back?
Yep.
I'm thinking they tried to do the Rideline without putting the pressure over the pivot. They did the Rideline, they put the pressure in the middle. And then these scissors are definitely ones you cannot bend. It says Taiwan and you got the crisp ledge.
Yep.
This one does not have the crisp ledge.
So this,
So
might
this
be
one
forged.
we could bend, yeah, that one's probably forged. And then this one, I know for a fact, if you try to bend that blade, it's going to snap and pop.
So what, are you going to take one of these apart?
I think I'm just going to take them both apart and just sharpen them from the beginning to end and see what happens.
Okay.
Why not? But this one, I'm thinking the Rideline might have been done wrong on the teeth side.
Do you think that this should be coming together a little more at the
Oh,
tip?
that might be. Yeah, get the handle bender. Let's see if that fixes that. Then I won't have to sharpen it at all.
I just noticed that is all.
Yeah,
Because when I pushed
here.
on the bumper, it was very...
Might need to tighten that finger rest. Okay, gently.
So we're going to want to bring the handle out.
Mm-hmm.
So
You make that like an arrow going this way. It's the first time you've done this entirely on your own. Now, one thing you are doing wrong is I usually will take out this ring because it gives you a false reading. Because it might make you feel like you can bend it when you really can't. See if you can pop it out. How do people work without fingernails?
it's difficult.
There we go.
Got it out. Alright. So, arrow
I
pointing
had
this
a nail
way.
tech lady tell me, your nails are not tools. I said, well, yeah, they are. You're doing something wrong. What you doing wrong there? There you go.
So we're going to bend it out just a little bit.
But your arrow's going this way, so you're actually bending it in. It's tricky, and I've done it the wrong way myself.
There we go. Okay. That bent really
It bent? Okay.
So that comes together.
Let's see if that... So you want to close it and pull it. Make sure that tip is on here. It still pulls.
Still catching.
Still catching. But it's better than what it was, isn't it?
It is better, but if, you know...
Because he was saying it was the last 3 teeth, but it's only like the last one, and it just depends on how they hit the hair.
Yeah, it's seeming to be okay now a little bit, but that first one when I just kind of...
That's
You
not
want-
bad.
If you want to check it out, here's that.
Yeah. Put that ring back in there. So, understand this. Hairstylists typically don't cut and pull out at the hair because they know a lot of times it'll pull the person. So, they probably would be happy with this like it is. I'm cutting. I'm going to say that's fine. I'm going to send it back like it is. I think between you bending it and the nail buffer,
I mean,
these
felt
are
pretty smooth.
these are yeah. Because as I said, rarely do they cut and pull out like this. They're usually doing this kind of thing.
So just by the test and analysis, you saved yourself a bunch of work and time.
Yeah.
Just assembling, sharpening this one, and then working the teeth.
Right.
I mean, so all we did was bend the handle, and you ran the nail buffer over this blade,
Mm-hmm.
and that seemed to do it.
Yep. And we also did a little bit of the nail buffer even on the teeth. As I recall, when we first looked at it, Brad, remember I felt a little bit of burr like pushed back that way.
So when they work the Rideline on these teeth, what tool are they using again?
Well, if you're doing the Rideline on this side, you do the Rideline on that side, and you're doing, same thing, your Waterstone.
Yep.
The only thing I would do different is a lot of times if you're working the Rideline here, you might push a little burr between those little V's. So it's good to take a stiff brush and brush them afterwards.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so I'll let you get to work on those 2 shears over there. I've got Brad is doing some of my work today. Anybody that says, oh, I always send my shears back to the company to get them sharpened, well, that may be the new person they trained 3 days ago sharpening them, right, Brad?
Yep.
And when you go back, you can say, I did the mail order sharpening for Benica.
Yeah, it's some great experience. Especially those nicked ones.
I know, those
a
were
little worried.
bad.
I was glad I could get those to cut.
But I am supervising what he's doing, so it's not like it's
Yeah, they
somebody I pulled off the street to sharpen these. You drove a long way, didn't you, to do this?
Yeah, a good 16 hours.
While Brad's sharpening, I'm going to sharpen this other pair of thinning shears over here and let you watch me. So here's the little note from him. I'll move this out of the way. Everything's really cluttery today. I've been experimenting with a diamond hone. It's 1200 grit. We may start selling it on our website. If we do, I'll put a link below here. This is a 2000 grit hone. Most of the people are using like anywhere from a 6,000 to 1,000 depending on the shears. This one here, I'm going to try that diamond hone because I want to make sure I've got a good hone line. And this is really weird looking, the inside of the teeth. It's not like a super wide hone line. Let me see if you can see that, what I'm talking about. See, it's really, really wide. I don't know if that has anything to do with what the problem is, but there's almost like no ride line here. So I'm just going to sharpen them regular and we'll see how they come out. So in following the recipe, and that's what Brad's been doing with the recipe, right?
Yep.
Step by step. I'm looking for my screwdriver. You don't have a screwdriver, your UFO key will work because it's got a flat side on it. These are Roc-Dogs. I remember when these first came out, there was one sharpener up in Kentucky used to call them the bicycle scissors, because I think when the Roc-Dogs first came out, you got a free bicycle with them. It's crazy. So it kind of tells you what kind of profit margin was in them if they could give away a bicycle when you bought them. But I'm cleaning them off. And I hope this is helpful to all you sharpeners out there, not just the person that sent them to me. Sometimes just basic sharpening is going to get you where you want to be. So I'm going to color in my edge because I kind of want to see what's going on here. And I'm coloring in the back because it shouldn't come off the back. So I'm coloring it all the way around. That red comes off if it's... That's why we went to our new Simek edge markers, because I don't have to worry about having to struggle to get the red off after I'm through. So this is my diamond hone. I'm all the way on the stone, all the way up, my pressure over my pivot area. This stone doesn't give me the same fun, smooth, zen feel my water stones do. So it's not as satisfying of a feeling. Now I've got a ride line here. I don't there. I do here, but no cutting is done there. So I'm not worried about the red not coming off, but that looks good. Kind of curious to see what the teeth side looks like. So Brad, you're getting to see how I do these videos, aren't you?
Yeah. Spends a lot of time watching them. It's funny. I'm in them now.
Yeah. Now, all right, so let me zoom in here so you can see what's going on. Now, I know this diamond stone is flat. Can you see the red is still there on that tip? So that's probably why it's pulling right there. So it may have been ramped, which is a perfectly correct way to do it if a scissor is biting into the other blade. But if it's pulling hair, ramping is not the solution. Ramping is only if it's one blade is the teeth or the blade are biting into each other. So I'm going to work this ride a little bit more. Pressure still here, maybe a little bit more pressure at the tip. Hey Brad, come look at this. I think you got a minute? I want you to see this. So this is exactly where it was pulling, right there.
Yep.
And you see the red is still there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why it's pulling, because it's close enough to grab the hair, but not close enough to cut it.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Do you think maybe that tooth is angled out a little?
Yeah.
Somehow?
And look how the ride is coming all the way up here. See on the back?
Mm-hmm.
This blade is probably out of alignment But this is the one I told you about that we cannot bend it or hammer it.
Yeah.
It'll pop.
Cast.
Yeah, it's cast.
Taiwan.
So I'm going to keep working it and see if I can get this all the way out here. That's the only thing I know to do.
So if you're unable to get the whetstone to reach that front one, would you be able to use the Arcon or the diamond?
No, because that's just going to make it even worse. It's just going to accentuate the problem because we have to take off behind here to get to the tip. If we use something to go down, we've just created what the problem is. So I don't know. I haven't really run across this, so
hopefully you'll get it with the whetstone.
we'll find out. I'm brave, but you have to stop and think, what am I trying to accomplish? And if you just, yes, I'm trying to get that red off, but I'm really wanting to remove the metal behind there. I could shorten that tooth maybe, but then it wouldn't have the V's in it. And then once again, you got to ask yourself, how much work do I want to put into it? And this blade is definitely out of alignment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit more metal off this area because I can't really hammer it, can't bend it. But if I take more metal off here, that should bring that whole blade down lower. So I'm going to work this corner really hard. Yeah, I'm just trying to think about what to do to fix that. See, this looks good. This is where the problem is. I could actually shorten that scissor by one tooth. I wonder if they would miss it. I mean, when all else fails. Because I've almost got it to the tip on this blade, but not on that tooth, but not this one. And really, I only have to have it to the bottom of the V. At the top of the V is not touching. I'm actually okay because the cutting is done at the bottom of the V. So I'm setting my clamp at 45. I've got it where it rotates. Got a cushion plate. You notice how quiet these machines are? We've got both of them running. I've trained on other machines here and it sounds like an airplane taking off. Oh, I don't know what angle he did them at because I'm at 45 and I'm not near the edge. Might not get down to 40. I definitely don't want to go lower than 40 because I do want a nice crisp cut. Got a burr in the middle. No, I don't have a burr anywhere, and I'm at 40. So that might have been one of the problems. These were sharpened too blunt. burr starting here, none back there, none at the tip. And this is starting to get hot, so I want to spray a little water on it. Okay, I'm feeling the burr all the way down to the, well, I'm not right there at the tip, and that's where it's not cutting. Keep going. I'm not sure if I've got a good burr at the tip. Todd Binko, who watches all my videos, drew a little picture of times that you think you've got a burr at the tip when you really haven't, because the person did a lot of tip point cutting. I thought that was a pretty good assessment. Always make sure you've got a full burr at the tip. So I have this sharpened at 45, going back to my diamond hone. And now I'm going to polish it. This is a felt pad. I've got diamond spray and polishing compound on here. And then I'm going to adjust my detente so I'm not rolling all the way to the edge. Maybe I'll go a little faster. And I'm rotating over the whole blade to make it look shiny and also give it that nice convex shape and keep its original shape form. See, I'm feeling burr on the outside like I did when I first got these. Okay, that's gone. And those felt rough at the tip before, and they don't now. They feel nice and sharp. Oops, that wasn't good. Watch what you're doing. I'm gonna put a nick in there though. Yes, that's a good tip. Is always be looking at what you're doing when you're sharpening. Don't look behind you to see if somebody's paying attention and watching you. Yeah, these, when I turn this back and forth to the light, I'm seeing a little sparkle right there on the edge where I did not get the Rideline, especially since I was using a coarser grit than usual. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but you could definitely see where I'd left the red before, and now I can see a little shiny where I didn't get all the way there. So I don't think they're going to cut, but let's put them together. All right, I don't think these are going to cut, but I'm going to put them back together, cross my fingers. Those other ones where I just went over with a nail buffer, I didn't think that would fix them, but it did. So I'm putting my washers on first. This has 2 washers. I'm just going to leave it with 2 washers. I think this is the one he said he wasn't sure if it was the original washers or not. And it may not be. They're pretty nice and crisp and flat. Because these shears look old, and I would think the washers would have been more worn looking than this. So if you like watching me struggle with shears, I would say subscribe and watch some more of my videos. I usually end up fixing most of them. Once in a while, and this may be one of them, I will not be able to fix. And it could be because of the type of shear it is, where this one I cannot bend it. Could be from previous sharpening. It could be because I just don't know enough. I'm still learning. Never stop learning. Okay. Hand me one of those perm papers over there. So this typically is what I test them on. This is old thin perm paper. If it cuts this, it'll cut hair. Sometimes it won't cut this and it'll still cut hair. So yeah, it's not cutting at the tip on here. You see how it just bends it? Let's see if it'll cut hair for me. I told you I didn't think it would, but... Still catching and pulling. Where is it catching and pulling? Looks like the second tooth back, first tooth and the second tooth, which is exactly where we saw that sparkle. So I think I'm going to send these back and say I couldn't fix them. It's Halloween today. I guess I needed a pair of scary shears. I'm wondering if you ground this down, took those little V's out, whether it would make it better or worse. I don't know. I mean, at this point... Oh, heck. Let's try it. I'm going to go with something super coarse. Let's see what I've got here. So this is a fairly worn 220 grit. Flat plate. Go for broke. I'm going to go pretty blunt, like thinking 10 degrees, maybe 5. Do I dare? Just want to get it down to down past that spot. It's my arc cone. I'm just knocking the inside burr off. Alright, I haven't serrated it. This is a real experiment. I've never tried this before. They all cut except the last tooth. And the last tooth, I still see a sparkle. Let me take some more metal off. A little bit more metal off that one. That sparkle is gone. Well, you know, this reminds me of the tests that I used to get in organic chemistry. And the tests were really hard, but they were such that by the time I finished the test, I knew more than I did before I took the test, if that makes sense. Let's see. Oh, look at there. It cut my perm paper. I think this might have fixed it, Brad.
Really?
You might have seen a miracle. It pulls a little bit, but the teeth behind it are cutting.
What did you end up doing to it?
What I tell people not to do. I went in here at a 5-degree angle and took it off down there because it wasn't touching. You remember that, you know, it was like it wasn't touching?
So you just did the tip?
Yeah. I might be able to put serrations on that.
That last tooth?
And make it, that last tooth, and make it work. So I tried something I've never tried before.
Hey, hopefully. Yeah, it looked like it was kind of...
You have to be a problem solver, and sometimes
Take a risk.
Take a risk, and I mean, if there's nothing else can be done. So what I'm doing now is I'm putting little micro serrations on that last tooth. Maybe the last 2 teeth. And I want to cut those serrations off, maybe on a paper towel, because the serrations make a burr. Let me knock that burr off. Let's see if that fixed it. Teeny tiny pull.
A lot better though?
Oh yeah, look at that. Remember how they were before?
Yeah, they weren't cutting anything. So you went in at a 5-degree angle on the...
It's a Halloween miracle, Brad. It's a Halloween miracle. Look. So I did the things I tell you not to do. I actually, I don't know if you can see that on the camera. But I mean, it's a 5-degree. I didn't do all the way back. I just started like from here.
And you
5
did that
degrees
on what?
here. A 220 grit.
On the machine. On
the machine. Flat plate. Because the problem was it just wasn't reaching over here. It looked like it had been ramped down too much or something, and you couldn't bend them. I mean, is it as good as new? No, but it definitely
Cuts.
Yeah, it cuts. Yeah, look at that. Wow.
Huh.
Sometimes it's not that I'm that smart, it's that I'm that much of a risk taker.
Try something new.
Okay, so I learned something new. I hope you did too. Do this when there's nothing else that can be done. And I think you saw the reason was because I just couldn't get that last tooth to connect here, so I had to remove that section. So I'm pretty pleased. These are going back to them. Hey y'all, I hope you're staying sharp. This is Bonnie McGowan, your red-headed sharpener here. And if you like this video, I try to post something every Monday. So make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you'd like to see more videos like this. If you're looking for the tools I used in this video, there's some product links and things in the description, and also you can go to the website www.benika.com. If you've got questions or you want to connect with me personally, you can always put a comment below, but I've got a lot more links in the description below that will show you how to get in touch with me. I teach in person and online, as well as, of course, these YouTube videos. And let's connect, let's learn more about sharpening together.